Okay, so this is transformations of exponents of exponential functions. The three main exponential parent functions are f of x with the base of 2 to the power of x, base 10 to the power of x, and base e to the power of x. These are the three main parent functions that you'll see for exponentials. And we saw these yesterday. The transformations are always going to be the same. The letter D tells you how much you will move up or down. The letter C tells you how you're going to move left and right. B does not do anything. B is just your base. And you'll see three different types of bases. You'll see base 2, base 10, and base E. Okay, B just stands for your base. And then the A value is either a vertical stretch or compress. If the number is greater than 1, it's a stretch. And if it's between 0 and 1, it's a compress. We just basically say if it's less than 1, it's a compress. And if you have a negative in the front, I'll write it over here. It will be a reflection across the x-axis. So I'll say reflects over the x-axis. So let's start with an example. I have a negative in the front, so I know it will reflect over the x-axis. This 4, that is greater than 1, so that'll be a vertical stretch by 4. The 2 is just your base. This plus 1 will mean it goes to the left 1, and this minus 5 is down 5. Okay, so if you remember from yesterday, this minus 5 tells you what your asymptote is. If it moves up or down, your asymptote will be written right here. So this went down 5, so that means my asymptote is at negative 5. It's also facing down. So this is what the parent function normally looks like. It goes up like this. This is how all graphs start. However, because you have a negative in the front, it is now reflected across the x-axis. It's now pointing down. So it no longer is facing up. Also, it moved down 5 spaces. So now it went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is now there. So based off of the transformations, by looking at the equation, you can tell what the transformations are. You can also tell what the graph looks like. So let's answer the domain and range questions. The domain will always be all real numbers. Okay? Let's look at the range. You always read the range from the bottom of the graph to the top. So looking at my picture that I drew, the very bottom has an arrow. It's pointing down to negative infinity. And the very top is at this asymptote at negative 5. That's how you write it in interval form. If you want to write it in inequality form, you'll just say all the y values. This graph is below negative 5. So I'm going to write y is less than negative 5. That's how you would write it in inequality form. You can also write it like this. The bottom is at negative infinity, and the top is at negative 5. Both of these are right. Mostly, you'll see it written just like that. Y is less than negative 5. And then set notation is exactly the same as inequality. However, you'll just have the curly bracket, and it'll be in that format for set. Okay, that's it.